Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Total Hockey Now here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. All the way down over there is at Fuzzy Chris 91, Christopher Merez. In the middle at Ant Rivera 86, Anthony Rivera. I am Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard, and fresh off of for two of us thrilling, one of us not so thrilling, Team USA women's gold medal game there. Chris looking pretty forlorn. We're not going to rub it in too much here. Ant said we were going to sing the anthem. There's no way I'm going to subject the world and the internet to my singing. My musical gift was through a trumpet in high school, not through the vocal singing chords there. But nonetheless, what we can do, if you're a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the old rock flag and eagle, we scroll that on the bottom there. That's, to me, the alternate anthem for situations like that. But nonetheless, kudos to the Canadian women there that they played as well a good a game as you could. But when you got Hillary Knight, there that threatened it late and, what a redirect in front, you knew Team USA was coming. And then in overtime, what a move by Megan Keller there to, get the shot on net. And there we go. Third gold medal for Team USA. Hell of a game by Canada. And listen, for Team USA, they were the favorites coming into the tournament. They did everything they were supposed to do. And I will say, there's a lot of crap going on in the country today. It was nice to have like a nice half hour, 40 minutes of just enjoying a team that plays the game the right way. I don't want to hear this nonsense that, women's hockey is garbage. That was a fantastic hockey game, and they play the game the right way. Yeah, it was nice to have like a pure moment to be proud to be American, at least for a little.
Yeah, I want to say, and we talked about this off air, Adam, I want to take a little bit of credit here, and I would like my paper gold medal at some point, because as soon as I came home from work, jumped in about 6 minutes left with the third period going, and the USA scored the 2 goals after that. I mean, come on. Yeah, gotta take a little bit of credit here.
That's not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence whatsoever. Congratulations, Team USA. Congratulations to Canada as well these two teams, elites in hockey. And it was a fun game from beginning to end. You like a close game like that. Great goaltending. And Chris put it in his tweet, and I retweeted it. That Keller move. Yeah. If you're going to lose, that's the way you're going to lose, because there was no stopping that move right there.
Yeah, the defenseman is not losing sleep over she will, but should not lose sleep over that. I mean, that's again, hell of a move. Chris is notoriously quiet today. I think we can count on 2 hands the words he said so far.
Listen, I had the tweets ready to go. Those ones, unfortunately, will never.
Were they scheduled?
Listen, no, they were specific for they were in the drafts. They were getting ready to go, but I guess, like Kanye once said, I guess we'll never know.
You can save them for Sunday.
No, so Sunday's going to be more unhinged. I just want you guys to be very aware. I'm already a little bit unhinged because there is a lot of hate towards Nick Suzuki on the timeline coming into it. And listen, I was taking some names, and we were coming back. We were circling back and letting people know, that.
And I think Chris has time, because there's no hockey once the gold medal game happens Sunday till Wednesday. So he's got a good 2 full days to get caught up on that stuff.
Listen,
were the casuals complaining about Nick Suzuki?
Listen, it's just sometimes, if you want to lose brain cells, you go right into the TikTok comment section. I put out I thought was a fantastic TikTok, which apparently the algorithm agreed. And I woke up and it was just like people were having full-blown conversations, right? And I was just like, man, I got to read some of these so I can understand why the algo has picked this up. And I understood immediately why. Because some people don't understand that you can't be elite for 60 minutes of hockey. Like, that's not how hockey works. Just be good for the whole game. And I'm like, yeah, man, tell me you've never played puck without telling me you've ever played puck. Right? Basically the Skip Baylesses of the world just figuring out that hockey exists. And you're like, oh, okay, welcome in. Here's the brochure about how this works. But
you should do 3-on-3 in the NHL.
Yeah, it's a great job. Yeah, man, hey, Skip, wait, get Gary on the phone. Let him figure that out. But listen, Team USA, you could see they were pushing. Canada was sitting back, blocking shots, doing everything. They scored a shorthanded goal. they were heavy underdogs coming into this. And if you would have told me that Canada is going to go to overtime against the United States, I would have taken it 10 out of 10 times. And then what happens in overtime kind of happens. Anne-Marie Desbiens, the Canadian goalie was just standing on her head, just prime Carey Price at that point, or prime Kim St. Pierre if you can go back that far. It's just absolutely fantastic. It was a great hockey game, both sense. If you were looking for a high scoring game, obviously you don't know the rivalry and how this goes.
Oh.
None of that was ever coming, but unfortunately, yes, the American, absolute fantastic move, and then to bury it as well. Like, it wasn't a terrible goal. Even the tip from Hillary Knight, goes to the net. She's got her stick down, waiting. Canada, they block so many shots. That one gets through. There's nothing you can do on shots that get tipped, man. You're looking for that lane. So listen, kudos to the American women. They came into the tournament. They steamrolled most of their opponents. They hadn't given up a goal in what feels like a week. And, Canada had them on the ropes until less than 2 minutes. So
2:04.
Who's counting, really, right? Who's counting, really?
Listen, and that's the thing. Canada gave them everything they could, but I said earlier, USA were the favorites coming into the tournament. They were the favorites going into the game. You can't account that team out like that, and they came through when they needed to. So we got one USA-Canada gold medal game in the books. Will we have a second one? That's what we're here to talk about today. Looking at the gold medal odds there. And you can see, pretty much everybody thinks we're on a crash course for another USA-Canada game. Canada -120 to get the gold. USA +115. Finland 15-1. Slovakia 35-1 there. And we'll also take a look here at the lines for the game, both games at least coming in here. We'll go back to make picks later. Now, one important thing to note: since I made these graphics maybe about 2 hours ago, the over in USA-Slovakia is now up to -142. Under to +120, and the Canada-Finland game, the over 5.5 is now -108. So money coming in on the over in both instances there. The under 5.5 now -112. So just so you know that going in. Talk a little bit more about that later. But the first thing we need to get into here is let's talk a little Canada-Finland. That's the earlier of the games. It's going to be 10:40 a.m. Eastern time. 7:40 out on the West Coast. Try and time the drop off at school in the morning for the first intermission. That way I should be okay. Nonetheless, Canada wins Group A. Average goals scored 6 per game, which is absurd. 1.5 average goals allowed. Connor McDavid leading the scoring with 2 goals and 9 assists. Macklin Celebrini, 5 goals, 4 assists. What a coming out party for the 19-year-old. Jordan Binnington, as we talked about on a previous episode of Total Hockey Now, he puts on the red and black and the maple leaf, or the red and white. And he just, becomes a sensational goaltender. 3-0, 1.65 goals against, 922 save percentage. Maybe his looked a tiny bit shaky recently. We can get into that. Finland, who finished 4th overall, average goals scored 4.75, goals allowed 1.75. Not a ton of scoring coming from them. Sebastian Aho, 3 goals, 1 assist, their leading scorer. UC Saros has been fantastic and probably the reason Finland is even here. 3-1, 1.49 goals against, 938 save percentage. So taking a look at those numbers right off the bat, Chris, what is your impression? This is, we'll give you the floor first. This is, your country going against one of the better hockey countries, obviously a 4-nation team there. On a scale of 1 to 10, Canada's been dominant, but are you worried at all, or you think you're okay?
I don't think I would be worried. I understand how the last game went and everything that went through. One would be the status of Sidney Crosby, right?
Yes.
Practice was closed today, which I expected. Doug Armstrong was like, yeah, they're going to be open all the way. And I was like, no, it's not. So that was closed off. Let's see if Sid can play. Canada, Sidney Crosby needs to be in that lineup. There's no question about it. He is the captain of the team. There's nobody will doubt you that. But when he left that game, Canada's momentum kind of changed a little bit. Nick Suzuki moved back to his natural position down the middle, and then you could kind of see things starting to progress. Anyways, Sidney Crosby needs to be there. The Finns have been very inconsistent, I would say. That is putting it lightly. They don't have as much depth as Canada. Neither did the Czechs really, but A Lucas Dostal performance was kind of expected, and David Pastrnak did a lot of that damage, right? And the Finns are going to have only 5 players on the ice because you can only play with 5 players on the ice at a time, not 6, right? Even though the Czechia coach was like, his quote about Canada, and the referees, and I was like, there's no way you're saying 6 players when there's 6 guys in the huddle celebrating, and everybody let that go. I'm not worried.
Egregious miss, by the way.
Egregious. And nobody noticed it except Nate Dogg, obviously, the most locked-in guy ever. But I think this was Canada's first challenge, I would say, a little bit of adversity. And you saw the depth come up because that was an issue for Canada. The big boys are scoring, right? Macklin Celebrity, McDavid is just a shooting machine. He won't slow down. It's good to see the depth coming in. We'll see if Josh Morrissey is healthy enough to play. That would be a little bit maybe of an upgrade over Travis Sanheim. Not that he hasn't been great, but I would take Morrissey over Sanheim all day, every day. And it's for Canada, it's about getting that puck deep, getting pucks on goal, right? Really making life for the Finns very, very difficult. Because once that happens, Finland is great team, but they were like, you could see them trailing and you could see them trying to make that push, and it was coming. And, the Swedes didn't necessarily play. I'm sorry, no. Finland, they played the Swiss, and you could see they lost
to Slovakia, beat Sweden, and then their last game was 11-0 over Italy.
Right.
And they had Switzerland, and then they played Switzerland.
Listen, no disrespect to the Swiss, but that isn't the deepest lineup, especially with Kevin Fiala being out, and it still needed an Artturi Lehkonen miracle. That's what I don't want to happen. I don't want that game to go to overtime because I am deathly afraid of Artturi Lehkonen in a big moment doing something for his country or his team. So not necessarily worried. If you would have told me that, Canada plays Finland, I would have said, okay, that's
sounds
okay.
About right for a semifinal.
Sounds about right. Yes. So I'm okay with it.
Chechnya pushed Canada to the limit, and I like Finland's roster way better than I do Chechnya. So 2 things are going to happen. This is going to be a close game, possibly into overtime. Or Canada's going to be like, yeah, we can't let this happen again, and then they steamroll. Like, I think those are the 2 situations that we're going to possibly see here. But yeah, I'm looking up and down Finland's lineup, way better than what Chechnya put out there, and I don't know how Canada let them keep it so close in that last game. Like, I don't know how you felt about that, Chris.
You're pushing the pace, right? Listen, Czechia took advantage of their opportunities, right? That's what good teams do, especially when you know that you're the underdog. That neutral zone is small. I think we all knew that coming in, and the first thing the Czechs did was, once they got that lead, was sit back. Once they got that 2-1 goal, that neutral zone, I'm assuming that's what New York City downtown traffic looks like, absolutely clogged. Because you couldn't get through. Canada, all of us, you got all these elite players, and now you're playing dump and chase, there's no space to move. The lead in a hockey game is, especially at the Olympics now, is even more important just because of how small the neutral zone is and how much it's just, you're forcing all these great players to have to play the Tom Wilson experience, which is dump it in, throw your weight around, try to get it back.
And Czechia came in with the right attitude. Like David Pastrnak was like, what did he say? Basically something along the lines of, we recognize what they have on their roster and all that, but it's time for us to step up, and they did. And I thought they would have, they had the 5-0 loss early to Canada there, and then they kind of got this act together, and they, take Canada to overtime like that. That's impressive, and they are a country on the rise in the international. We'll be talking about Slovakia in a second. That's another one that a lot of us underestimated, and here they are as the 3 seed. Group winner there, playing for USA play for a gold medal. Back to the game though, Chris hit the nail on the head with the inconsistent with Finland right now. The opening now the loss to Slovakia in hindsight maybe doesn't look as bad, but still, that's a country that should have been a little bit. That's still a game that you expect Finland to win. They beat Sweden 4-1. That's a rivalry. That's one of those rivalries where the first place team could play the 8th place team in the division, and the 8th place team may win. That's just one of those. And then they beat up on Italy, but good for you. You beat up on Italy. Congratulations. And then Switzerland knew that was going to be a close game. You knew that was going to be a low scoring game. They end up prevailing. They get the late goal when they need it, and then they win it in overtime. It's been too inconsistent, and Canada's too good. Canada had their moment of adversity there with getting pushed to overtime, despite the goal with 6 guys on the ice, which could have, been one of like most egregious errors ever go down in Olympic history that would have mattered if had the game gone differently. I'm on Canada on this one. I still, looking at the odds for the game here, I'm still on, I would say the over is what I would like to take a look at there. Let's get that on the screen there. Now it's off to what I said, minus 108 for the over 5.5. I would still do that because I think Canada, despite Finland playing in low scoring games, it's just too much firepower there. And Finland, I think, not to say that they can get into a track meet with Canada, but they've got the people that can put the puck in the net if that's what it starts coming to. So I would play the over. And I think on the puck line, I'm okay with that 2.5.
I would play the under. I don't like Jordan Binnington has been fantastic, I would say, for the majority of the tournament. And, despite everything that's happened, like UC Saros hasn't been egregiously terrible. Like he's been good. So I think with the way the Finns can play and the way the Finns are going to, like, you have to be good in your own zone and you have to be good defensively, right? Finland can't be out here taking penalties and giving your opponents, like, you can't let Canada's power play have an opportunity. It's too much. Yes, there's firepower offensively, but like those numbers are there. Like both teams are really good defensively. So I would lean more on the under. I think UC Saros can hold it together. The only thing that can really mess this up is probably one of those empty net goals late, right? Maybe you get like a 4-2 kind of thing. And you're like, that's unfortunate. But I don't see, like, maybe like Finland pulls a goalie crazy early if they're trailing and then try to pull it again to make up. Something like that might ruin it. But I don't think we're going to see like a 5-1 game from either side. I don't see it happening. I see this being a lot closer.
Yeah, maybe like a 2-1, 3-1 type affair with that empty net being the third goal. Jordan Binnington, man, like seriously, he can't get out of St. Louis. So he's like, this is the only time I'm going to be able to play somewhere else, and I'm going to make the most out of it. If he wins this, if they win the gold, I mean, like, create a statue for him in Canada. I mean, come on. Winning the 4 nations, now this, I mean, dude's done it all.
Guys, listen, he's locked in. I don't know what happens. The minute he puts a maple leaf on, he turns into prime Carey Price. Just
maybe if he just played for a Canadian team, like if Edmonton could figure out a way to get Jordan Binnington on their roster, maybe he plays for a Canadian team, he just turns it on. Doesn't matter, national or the Canadian based.
I was gonna say maybe he ends up in Colorado because having Devin Taves and Cale Makar probably helps a lot too. And you already have Nathan McKinnon there, right? But I feel like they figured that out with Blackwood and Wedgwood, but there you go. That's the St. Louis Blues are bad defensively. That's what I've gathered from this. The St. Louis Blues are not a good defensive team.
All right, so I like the over. The other two guys like the under. In terms of a side, I think we all pick Canada. Anybody bold enough to think they cover the puck line? I think they can. 2.5 plus 120. I would do that.
Okay, that's fair.
Nobody else thinks so, but okay. I have more faith in Canada than you.
Listen, I'm just saying. I don't see this being one of those track meets.
With Finland, there's been no consistency with them, and that's why, like, I would like to pick them. I would like to have an upset. I'd like to, but it's been too up and down. And Switzerland almost pulled that game out. Finland really needed to come back late. I thought Canada was going to have, not to say an easier path to the gold medal game, but I thought they were going to, maybe historically Switzerland gives them fits, but I think they'd rather probably see Switzerland versus Finland right now. So there we go. So that's a little bit of a Canada-Finland breakdown. Now we look at, Team USA versus Slovakia, which I don't think any of us thought that was going to be a semifinal matchup. USA, obviously, people thought USA would be here. They win Group C. Average goals scored 4.5. Average goals allowed 1.5. Austin Matthews. It's been a balanced effort for Team USA, scoring 3 goals, 3 assists, leads the team. Connor Hellebuck 3-0, .98 goals against, .958 save percentage. Slovakia takes Group B over Sweden and Finland. Average goals scored 4. Average goals allowed 2.5. Juraj Slavkovsky 3 goals, 3 assists, leading the way for the Slovakian team. And then Halavic there, 2-1, 2.67 goals against, 932 save percentage. That game dropping the puck Friday, 3:10 p.m. Eastern, or accompanies your lunch at 12:10 p.m. Pacific time. I got to get on the road to Sacramento at 3 o'clock, so I really hope this game is wrapped up by then. Hopefully that times out okay for me. But nonetheless, initial thoughts when let's talk about. We'll talk plenty about USA in a second, but Slovakia, the start they got off to, you were waiting for that other shoe to drop, and it just hasn't yet. And they've played well in every game. They really handled Germany very well in the previous round. I don't know if they're beating Team USA, but I think, I could see USA like ending Slovakia's run here and being like, okay, it's time. You're playing a big opponent now. But every time you doubt Slovakia, they just keep coming around and keep playing well.
I think this is the same thing with dealing with Canada. The closer the score is in this game, the more confidence you're giving to these other teams. So it would behoove the United States to kind of make quick work of Slovakia, because the confidence is only going to build for them if this game is close. I mean, I feel like that's the one thing that will hurt the United States, is if this game stays close. I mean, they really need a game here where they can just roughshod over this team. I mean, last game going into overtime, I wouldn't want to do another overtime again.
Yeah, listen, no, we did not have Slovakia being here. Not a single one of us. Like, I don't even, like, maybe Slovakia thought they would be there, but there's definitely some people pointing at themselves going, I didn't think this was it. They've earned their spot here. I will say that. They went out, they beat the Germans. They did, you have to slow down Leon Draisaitl, which is not the easiest thing to do in the world, but they've found a way to win hockey games. They've gotten some fantastic goaltending out of it. And I think they got to take a page out of Czechia's book against Canada, which is like, you have to wait for your opportunity. You're not the better team on the ice. So you have to capitalize on those moments when you get them, right? If you're trying to go out there and go, band for band with the United States, it's not going to work. They're going to outmuscle you. They're going to out finesse you, outscore you, all that. You have to wait for your opportunities. You have to be disciplined as can be. And then, hockey is still played on the ice, right? You got to find an opportunity, a bounce, a deflection. It's not going to be a pretty goal against Connor Hellebuck. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to get that traffic in front, make life difficult, right? So, and again, Slovakia has one player, which is Juraj Slafkovsky, who turns into prime Connor McDavid the minute he finds an Olympic ice sheet. So, if I'm the United States and I'm sleeping on this, I might be in for a rude awakening. But the United States, I feel like they went through their test, which was Sweden. Again, this is a game that they should win and set them up to be in the position that they want to be. But they got to come out willing to work for it. They got to come out and, if the puck's not going in, be patient. Keep executing the plan. Keep doing what you need to do. Fire pucks on net. At some point they go in, but you got to be disciplined. Don't give your opponent any life. Don't make them feel like they deserve to be there.
One of the things you said there is, with Slovakia having to be patient and wait for their opportunities, completely agree. The other thing was, yes, that was one thing I was worried about with the USA-Sweden matchup, was that USA had not really, they had been, quote unquote, tested, teams that hang around longer than maybe you'd expected in all 3 of their games. But at the end of the day, when the U.S. needed to pull ahead, they did what they needed to do. They pulled ahead, they built that cushion, they win the game. That Sweden, pushing them to overtime, I think was a good thing. Because if they beat doors off Sweden 4-0, maybe they take Slovakia lightly. That's not going to happen here. Not after they just had to dodge a bullet and almost went home before they could even get into the medal round. So I actually kind of lean under here. I could see this kind of being like a low scoring. USA gets maybe 3 goal, like a 3-0 kind of game. Maybe they keep Slovakia off the scoreboard here. I know Dalibor Dvorsky also has had a good tournament so far. Pavel Regenda, who I've watched with the Sharks here, kind of playing a third line role. He had a really nice backhand goal against the Rangers that game I went. But of course, I mean, you leave somebody that open in the slot, besides the point. He's a budding. I don't want to say star, but a budding, reliable middle six player that will be on the next Slovakian Olympic team. In 4 years for sure. So I think Slovakia gives them a game, but I would think it's USA under -2.5, -155. I don't know if I want to go there with that, but I would say under like 3-0. But I'd say maybe they cover that puck line, but I could see a late goal by Slovakia or something like that. So just the under for me.
What's the reverse puck line for Slovakia? Is it +2.5?
+2.5, +130. Marek checking it. Hey man.
+130 at +2.5.
So maybe that's a way you could go on that one.
Yeah, that's where I'm going right there. I think Slovakia can keep it close. I don't think they get the wheels beat off them. I would probably take Slovakia plus money too, +2.5 at plus money. I think that's a little bit too much respect for the United States. I think they win, but I don't think they beat the wheels off them.
No, can I see the there we go. Yeah.
The over 5.5 is now up to -142. The under is +120 now. So money coming in on the over in both of those games, by the way.
I'm gonna take the under.
There we go.
I'm gonna take the under here. Under 5.5.
You're gonna get Slovakia's best effort. That's for sure. Like
you should, right? I mean, they've gotten this far.
Can't wait for tomorrow. Basically, it's now or never.
No, they're and again, the goaltending's been good. You can, and the thing is like, oh, have they really been tested? Well, they've played Finland. I know they're inconsistent, but Finland's a good team. They played Sweden, so yeah. In Germany, they saw Leon Draisaitl, they saw Tim Stützle. So again, I think USA wins a low scoring affair. Would be my pick there. Now Marek checking in. So the ref from the Canada game has been suspended. He's asking.
Listen, that man is blind. His prescription needs to be updated. My favorite part was all 6 guys celebrating in the huddle. Like they're celebrating all together, and not a single one went, man, there seems to be one, two, like even at that point, right? They're NHL referees, so those phantom calls could show up at any given time, right? But like just seeing 6 guys go down the handshake line, not a single person went. I feels like that's too many.
Well, not even like in the moment of celebrating. Yeah, you get lost in the moment, but like guys are hugging. Like, aren't we hugging one too many? Like,
isn't there one guy
one too many pit?
Like, I'm not expecting the referee to go back and be like, yeah, by the way, we're going to take the goal off the board kind of thing. Like, even if you see the 6 guys there, but like just nobody. And again, not even to their defense, like Canada said the same thing. They were like, hey, we didn't know. I need a guy behind the bench. You know how there's that guy who holds the stick, when the players are on the ice trying to make sure if one breaks, he's ready to get one. We need to hire a guy to start counting jerseys. Just, quick count. And then, I don't know, get a little beepy buzzer. And when there's 6 guys on the ice for too long, just, make sure somebody's yelling at somebody to say there's too many men.
I would think one of the 2 or sometimes 3 assistant coaches, one of them could be every time there's a puck drop.
Yeah, but those guys got, you know what I mean? Like assistant coaches got things to do. I'm talking about a guy who's got nothing to do. You know what I mean? Like that's his job. Your job is there to start counting, or maybe a trainer. You know what I mean? That's what,
usually unless they're working on somebody in the locker room or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't get to watch the game. So did the announcers pick this up on TV at all?
We found out like after the game because obviously somebody picked it up on TV.
I think Eddie O picked up on it here on the call here,
but not live.
Not live, at least. Or I only found out about it afterwards. I was like, man, listen, whatever your beliefs are in life, I definitely believe in the hockey gods because they saw that and they're like, we're not going to let that go on the main stage. They're like, oh, Canada benefited from the referee. I was like, I hope so. After that, yes.
The hockey gods had a way of going back and forth in that game because I think Czechia hit a post. No, Canada hit a post that would have put them up. And then like 2 minutes later, Czechia came down and hit a post that would have put them up. Like, all right, so they're trying to keep it even.
My Apple Watch had to remind me a couple of times to start breathing. My heart rate was a little bit elevated there once it was going. Like I said, it was never a doubt, but my heart had different ideas too. I
mean, obviously you don't want to lose Crosby, but again, just like we said, Sweden was a good test moment there for USA. That was maybe a little adversity that maybe Canada needs to make sure they don't get complacent. Not that I would ever expect that from that bunch. So there's your preview for both games. Now we're both, everybody here is saying it's going to be a USA-Canada final. Let's look at the gold medal odds there as we bring it up. For the bronze, though, Slovakia-Finland, who are you taking in that matchup for Slovakia-Finland? I almost think, and again, going back to the inconsistency here with Finland, a team like Slovakia has gotten this far. I don't know. I just feel like they won't go home empty-handed. Where, like, I think if they play Finland, they are going to get the bronze.
I get like, I want to say it's Finland, which is what I had picked as well. I have Finland winning the bronze, but I also think it depends on how that game goes against the United States. Because if they suffer one of those crushing late defeats, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just the mental to get up after that is just
the hangover. Yeah,
it's so hard. And I know people are like, oh, we'll just move on. Like that's not it. That's not it.
And they have to play the next day because that game is on Saturday. So there's not even a day to.
Yeah, next day they're on, and that's it. Boom, you finish this up. So I feel like it would be tough for them if let's say they lose 5-1. You're like, okay, well, we didn't have a chance here. Now you know what I mean. We could still salvage this mentally. Not say prepare for the next game kind of thing, but
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
the crushing defeat is not as bad mentally, right? I feel like they know that they've earned it. And sometimes it's just the guys in the room, like they lack a little bit of that, I don't know, maybe that NHL veteran experience that you have from other teams to be able to bounce back. I feel like even if the Finns lose a crushing close game, there's enough guys in that room to say, hey, we could still come away with something here. Let's, saddle down. Let's take over. Let's go out here and, come back with something. So I don't know yet, but I would lead Finland. That's who I had when I made my picks going into the bracket.
I think because of that last reason about the veteran presence, that's why I'm going to also go with Finland.
All right, so 2 for Finland, 1 for Slovakia in that hypothetical bronze matchup. I'm not going to go through possibilities here because everybody thinks it's going to be USA-Canada. There's not to say there's no reason to think that won't be the case, but we're going to go with that here. So USA-Canada. Again, last chance to get gold medal odds there, -120 for Canada, +115 for Team USA. If you think USA is going to go all the way, that's probably the bet to make right now because I don't know if they'll have better odds against Canada. Canada would still be the favorite, but it would probably be a little bit closer than that. So I would think a total in that would probably be 5.5. I would probably stay away from that one there. A puck line, I would think, is probably going to be -1.5 for Canada. I don't think you get anything higher than that. So Canada money line is probably where I would go, depending upon what the value is on that. I think you'd have a close game, but it's just until Team USA prevails in a medal round against Canada, which they've proven, and I know it's different teams, but again, until they do it, it's tough for me to go against a team like Canada, especially the way they've been playing. I think Canada is gold, USA silver, Slovakia is bronze.
I would say this: if Canada and the United States meet overtime, that's how that's probably going to go. I would also take the under. I can't see enough goals being scored on each side for it to. Again, just a clog in the neutral zone, man. Absolute clog.
We do have Pablito checking in, or Pablito. Love you guys. Keep underestimating Slovakia. That's what we need. I don't think I'm underestimating them. Listen,
I want beat the United States. What are you talking about? Do them a favor. Send them home early. The tweets for that will be lined up. You know what I mean? Can't lose to Canada if you lose to Slovakia, right? Listen, I would be even more unhinged.
That's a potential Friday afternoon for Chris right there. See how that goes. Listen. But listen, I think Slovakia is going to give them a tough game. But I just, at the end of the day, I think Team USA prevails in a low scoring one. But I think Slovakia is going to get the bronze.
They should have us up on the TV listening to us and be like, you know what? We're going to show these 3 clowns.
Exactly.
That's what they are. We're gonna show these guys.
Of course, you comment. We're gonna respond. And hey, when we get back into our normal mode on Thursdays at 5 o'clock, where we're doing fantasy talk and giving you picks for the night, drop your stuff in the chat. We're gonna get it on there. So we appreciate.
You can just add us and then have the Kermit the Frog drinking the tea. Be like, I told you so, and I will take it. I'll take it. I understand it.
So Chris has got I guess a Canada, USA, Finland, medal stand there.
I picked that a week ago, so I'm sticking with it.
Yeah,
sticking with it. But I did have Slovakia beating. Did I have Slovakia beating? I did have Slovakia beating Germany. So you're welcome.
There you go. Now Ant has Finland collecting bronze. How do we have the two other medals shaking out?
Let's have a little fun. I'm gonna go against the grain, folks. Team USA, gold. Let's go. Let's go 2 for 2. Come on.
Hellebuck's revenge, maybe?
Hellebuck's revenge. Let's get it done.
Hey, listen, I would love this. Listen, one step at a time, beat Slovakia and then get there. But yes, I'm going to be waking up at 5 a.m. to watch this game. And the thing is, these puck drops are sharp. Whatever time they tell you that puck is dropping, there's not 8 extra minutes or 12 extra minutes. No. Puck drop.
This isn't Gary's NHL. When they say, 8 a.m. that's the puck is, it's like baseball, 7:07 pitch. It's 7:07. It's not 7:08. It's now. Let's go.
And I will say it is nice that we'll have hot, because I will say the past couple of weeks, you go to put a hockey game on for me at 4 o'clock or later, and there's just nothing there. So, and it's not like an all-star break where it's all right, it's a few days, we'll get through it. It's not a big deal. Yeah. It's been nice to have hockey on during the day. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be nice to have some NHL action returning on Wednesday, the 25th.
We got teams that are dwindling right now and just fooling around in the Metro Division. We need this on Sunday. Actually, we need it tomorrow and then Sunday. Let me be clear. I don't want Pablito to get mad.
Are you skipping right over Friday? You're just
I don't want him to get
mad.
Assuming
the win?
Yeah. Yeah. We got to get it.
I put that as the time based off of the puck drop there. The game should be over by that time. We're going to come on the air as soon as it's over. If we go to an overtime, then maybe we come on for overtime, because that'll be epic. Or, even if it's a close game in the third period, maybe we come on at some point. But we'll be on around that time, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later on Sunday to recap the gold medal game. And then we are back to our normal Thursday schedule for the foreseeable future. I don't see any Thursdays off the rest of the way. So we should be okay right into the playoffs here and through the fantasy hockey playoffs. Because here's the thing, fantasy trade deadlines, they're going to sneak up on you. That action starts up on Wednesday next week, and most fantasy trade deadlines are going to be about a week or 10 days after that. So keep that in mind there. And the real trade deadline.
Not in our league. I don't think I've seen a trade yet this season.
No, it's been a quiet one. But we'll see.
There's lots of time left. Me
and my brother just have to have a little fun and just start trading now.
Okay, well, and that's the other thing too. I haven't looked at my teams in a little while. Now it's time to get back in. The Rangers, Shesterkin and Adam Fox are practicing. So guys that you had on IR may not be on IR anymore. Maybe that's a good thing for you. Yeah. So there we go. So we've run through all of our, we've given you preview for both of the semifinal games. Who we think is going to take home the gold medal. We talked plenty about the women's gold medal game. What a game that was earlier. 2-1 USA over Canada. Not rubbing that in, Chris, but just throwing that out there.
And you know what? I know you said, wait until Sunday to celebrate. No. Because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or even Sunday. I am enjoying this win here. I'm going to take it and enjoy it for what it is. Good job, USA. Taking that gold. Come on.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that is not ideal is our buddy here at Ant Rivera 86, Subway to Shea podcast. Not going to be at home for World Baseball Classic coverage there. I know you just had a new episode go up recently.
Yeah, we just did Pool A, which consists of Canada. I have Canada going into the quarterfinal round there, Chris. I think they're going to be good coming into this. Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico. So we just dropped the preview for Pool A. Next week will be Pool B. And then the following week will be C and D, because that Thursday is the opener, which I think is Australia and Chinese Taipei. So we may be doing a live stream for that.
Wow, there we go. So you're home for all your World Baseball Classic coverage there.
Yes.
Chris, next Slapshot podcast, what do we got coming up?
That'll be Monday after. Listen, if you thought I was unhinged now, if Canada wins that Monday episode, I mean, I got stuff lined up. I got stuff. We're going to have to read some stuff, put some people on blast, and just listen. It's going to be unhinged. There's no other way to put it.
Do you have the preparation for the other side yet? The other side of the coin.
If Canada loses, winners don't prepare for losses. They only prepare for wins.
Well, now you've given us another reason to
listen.
USA.
Listen, if they lose, I will be there, or maybe my obituary will be just 30 minutes. There'll be a 30-minute obituary. You'll get a live stream from from the funeral home, and then it'll say how I died. But
I will be in the chat.
There we go.
Me and Adam will be singing in the chat.
Absolutely. And fantasyalarm.com/NHL for Chris as well to get his picks during the week once the season's resumed. Rip and Riff returns on Monday with myself and at Mr. Jared Moore.
Any Olympic cards?
I don't have any Olympic hockey cards. I'm surprised that's not a thing.
Yeah,
I do.
Maybe
Timmy's ones. I didn't open the Timmy ones. Maybe I'll do that as well Monday.
See, that'll be nice. Now, before we go, I'm just looking at some Olympic tournament MVP odds. Macklin Celebrini plus 650. That's a good one, I think, right there, by the way.
What a stud.
Yeah. I mean,
can't even drink in the United States, but he's out here burying pucks with McJesus. What a life.
If Connor McDavid minus 135, Quinn Hughes, Connor Hellebuck plus 500, Austin Matthews 10-1, Eichel 15-1. McKinnon
and that maple syrup, man.
If you think it's no disrespect here, so throw Slovakia out there too. Sierra Slavkovsky 30-1, Mikko Rantanen and Cisaros 40-1. I like that Celebrini plus 650. But for all the guys at Fuzzy Chris 91 and at Ant Rivera 86, I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. We'll be back with you on Sunday morning to recap the game, and then we're back to normal on Thursday, February 26th. Thanks, folks. Don't forget to tune in. Congrats, Team USA on the women's gold.